Smart 24, driving business.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Policon. I'm Anju Barija this evening, and definitely where we get to delve into the matters to do with politics and economics and getting to understand how one can actually influence the other. Now, heading straight onto today's topic of discussion, and of course, this has been making rounds quite all around media, social media, and so many other related platforms. And this is something to do with the companies that were deregistered, or in simple terms, that were struck off. That is the registrar of the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, the URSB. And of course, there are quite a number of reasons why that really happened, and that's why we're here today this evening, as we are going to be breaking down these matters. Now, with me, as we are going to be dissecting this, I'm joined with Rachel Kamsime, a Registration Officer, Business Directorate, URSB. And of course, we're going to be really having a discussion and what is the way forward as a result of this. Rachel, you're welcome on the show. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Barija.
You're very welcome.
I am called Rachel Kamsime. I'm a registration officer from Uganda Registration Services Bureau, and I'm really delighted to be here.
Very, very great. We are also delighted to have you for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, now this caused many people speaking, CEOs, and many people who are actually aspiring, and some who are running businesses probably who are not yet registered. So the question is, why this strike off?
Before I delve into the discussion of striking off, first of all, as URSB, we have a very wide mandate.
Yeah.
We have a mandate of registering these companies and formalizing them and bringing them onto a register that is formalized by the government. So we as URSB, we do register, we bring these companies into existence, but we also bring the small business names into existence. We give them life. These businesses are human. In law, according to the case of Salmon versus Salmon, a company is an individual. It can sue or be sued. It has life. It acts through its shareholders. It acts through its directors. It has a number of transactions as a human being, though it has no breath.
Yeah.
So striking off means we are removing it off the register. And putting it in a limbo where it is half dead. So in order to restore it, you're supposed to do particular things.
Okay, very interesting. Then what was the strike off about?
So basically, the Companies Amendment of 2022 empowered us. Remember, it was assented to and signed by the President. And this Companies Amendment Act empowered us to go ahead and strike off. Because when you do register, you're supposed to oblige. Every year, you're supposed to file annual returns. We have what we call post-incorporation requirements. You're supposed to file Form 14, that is the appointment of directors. You're supposed to file Form 18, assuring us and giving us where your postal address, where your situation of the offices will be situated. You're supposed to involve the registrar and notify them where exactly the status quo of your company. For example, if there were 5 shareholders, did you seize some? Did you bring some other directors on board?
Yeah.
Yes, so it's supposed to furnish information with the register of companies, keeping them abreast of what is happening in your company. So we are empowered to bring back that company to life or to strike it off.
To strike it off.
Yes.
And okay, maybe what is the procedure that was followed for you to execute that?
So the Companies Act basically provides in section 265A, it provides that the registrar of companies will first of all notify that person for 30 days. They will notify the company.
30 days notification?
Yes.
Okay.
For 30 days. Ensuring that this person, the owner, the shareholders, oblige and file annual returns.
Yeah.
We are basically striking off companies which have not filed for a number of 5 years and above. Those ones
5
below,
years and
yes,
above.
we are just giving them an allowance for them to file. But those which have not filed for a period of 5 years are being struck off. So we shall notify them for a period of 30 days. For example, on 14th, around 14th of this month,
Actually,
186,000 companies were struck off.
186,000.
But prior to that, over 825 on the 21st of July were struck off. After notifying those companies for a period of 30 days,
30 days,
when
yeah.
they do not oblige, we go ahead and strike off those companies. Yes.
Okay. Now,
And we later publish it in the Gazette. The National Gazette is basically a newspaper of wide coverage, which government uses. It notifies the general public that this and this is happening. So we prefer the National Gazette because everybody has a mandate to read the National Gazette to ensure that whatever is published is formal. So when they look at the National Gazette and you see your company, you're obliged to make sure that you come and fulfill the obligations of URSB.
URSB.
Yes.
So now, 5 years not filing annual returns. So, are they required to compensate for those 5 years?
So basically, it means that when we strike you off, we are removing you off our register of URSB and putting you in a certain, can I say, a certain phase of non-existence. As I say, the company is a formal person that exists. It's an entity that exists. It has breath. It can act through its shareholders. So when we strike you off, we are rendering you dead for that particular time.
Yeah.
You cannot carry out any business transaction.
Okay.
You cannot file any returns. You cannot file any resolutions. You cannot bid. You cannot advertise. So
Okay.
you're basically dead.
Dead, yeah.
But we have a chance, an opportunity of restoring you back.
Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting. Now, for those people that were deregistered, what is the remedy for them to actually get back on the register?
The remedy is actually very easy. You apply through a formal letter. You write to the Registrar General requesting that your company is restored and brought back to the register. So you just write, and you have to attach proof of payment of those particular annual returns we are demanding you. And you also have to pay 20,000 for that formal letter. And
20,000.
after, yes, you fulfill those conditions,
Okay.
we go ahead and give you a reply, and we tell you go ahead and file, and we shall restore your company on the register.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, very interesting discussions in here. You're still watching the Policon. I'm Andrew Barije with my guest, Rachel Kamsime, Registration Officer. That is Business Directorate, the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Of course, discussing matters to do with the deregistered companies in here. But of course, it's also, information to enable you to understand that actually it's very important. Why do you need to have your business registered? Probably, let's start. Let's also talk about that. What benefits do people miss out when they don't have their businesses registered?
Actually, that's a very good question. Registering of your business gives you a very high leverage over other businesses that are not registered. We've seen businesses which are operating online, informally, and of course, yes, they could be getting some clients, but there are certain benefits they cannot hinge on, like a company or business that is registered. For example, we've seen companies advertise. I guess you people receive those companies
They
here,
do.
so that their businesses are sold out to the entire public.
Yeah.
So you cannot advertise your business on any radio, on any TV, without formally being registered. The first requirement is to request that particular company to furnish them with a certificate of registration or incorporation. Secondly, you cannot operate within the ambit of Kampala right now without having a trading license, without having a TIN number. So URSB is the gateway through which this business is birthed out, so that you can access all those services from our sister entities. So without a TIN number and a registration number or a trading license from KCCA or a Q mark, you cannot operate. So after getting hold of your certificate of incorporation, you can go to these offices and access their services. Thirdly, we have the East African communities open to us right now.
Yeah.
People are trading outside Uganda. People are exporting eggs. People are exporting mutton in Qatar. So you cannot operate and meet the conditions of the export body without your business being formalized. I mentioned the projects, the tenders that government is always advertising. Even individual entities are advertising supplies in the newspapers. You cannot meet that criteria if your business is not formalized. Then the only way you can validate, you can make your business credible to the public is by it being registered. If you hang your certificate of incorporation and I'm a client and I walked into your office and the business is formalized, you'll build more confidence. Your business will be more credible to me. Yes. So it validates your company or your business to the public. It builds a brand. If somebody knows your business as maybe Barige Solutions, Barige Machinery, you've built a particular brand, which the other person who is not formalized does not have.
Now, you see, there is an issue. I mean, talking about registration, there are people that have been scammed around there, and they say that, we're even certified, we're a registered company. Now, I want to understand, by the time you make a decision to believe the credibility of the company, what do you really base on? Because I know it's your role, you don't engage in quality, that is the role of the UNBS, but I believe there are people who are still being scammed in the name of, because somebody showed them a proof that they are a certified company. So as URSB, how do you really look into that?
At URSB, we offer different services. We have, under the Business Directorate, we have what we call a search engine.
Search engine?
Yes.
Okay.
Where you can come and search for all the businesses, all the entities that have been registered, all the documents that have been registered. For example, we've seen people change their names, we've seen people rectify mistakes in their names, and all those documents are filed with us. So in case a company has committed a fraudulent act, maybe it has cheated someone. Yes. The investigative officers come to URSB. Our information is public domain, confidential. You run a search and get hold of those particular shareholders or directors, and then you carry out your investigations. So we have provided the company is registered. It is in our database. It is on our register. And that register is online right now. Provided you pay 25,000 for the search, you'll be able to access that information. If that company or business is not in our register, then maybe it is a forgery. A forgery. It was done at, maybe, I'll not mention the place, but it was done outside the offices of URSB.
URSB.
Yes.
Now we want to see what measures have you put in place to make sure that you actually ease on this work of registration for the people. Back in the day, I last helped somebody register, I think it was 8 years ago. But it seemed a little bit kindly bureaucratic. And I believe by the time this person sent me in there, they were saying, I think I don't want to stay in that line. Go, help me out. So how are you easing? Maybe that's the reason why some people really find it hard to register.
Right now, we've really reduced on that red tape. We've curtailed that red tape substantially in a way that our businesses, our services are all online right now. Online? Online services. Subsequently, after COVID, we transitioned to online services. Okay. We are now transacting with our clients through a system called OBRS, the Online Business Registration System, where you just log into our website on obrs.ursb.go.ug, and thereafter you follow the prompts. You open an account, a user account, and afterwards you go and click onto a particular service you want. We have what we call business registration, company registration, document filing, data update. I just want to also delve into the details of data update. Data update? Yes, data update. We are transitioning, we are migrating our information, our old data from the old system to the new system. So in order for you to benefit and file your services on the new system, you're supposed to do what we call a data update, where you're supposed to log into that website I've mentioned and mention all your shareholders. If there are any charges, for example, mortgages, you mention them, the recent postal address, where exactly the business is located, the directors, the current directors, the secretary, all that information is what we call data update. Data update. And after you've completed the process of data update, you go ahead and leverage on the new services that we have. For example, you will be able to file resolutions, you'll be able to transact normally after fulfilling the requirements of data update.
Data update. Okay. Now, as we head back to this, the issue of the deregistration, do we have scenarios of companies that have probably complied and they were put back in the shortest time possible to that list?
Of course, what we've realized, Ugandans are people who adhere to anything that is passed out into the public. We have realized that ever since 21st, when we struck off these companies, many companies are now obliging. They are filing. They are meeting those requirements.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So many. I will not mention a particular company, but several companies have come and furnished us with restoration letters.
Okay.
Yes, so that their companies are brought back onto the register. So because these companies are transacting, they are into the day-to-day running of businesses, they are into bidding, but maybe they did not know that they are supposed to file annual returns.
Okay.
So this was an awakening call to them that indeed they are supposed to file annual returns. And companies are complying.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, according to you, if you look at, because we still have, our economy is still dominated by the informal sector, you know, and I believe there are quite lots of people, and there are people that will testify to you that, you know, me, I'm in the informal sector, and I've been able, this is what I've been able to establish that. So if we are to project, you know, like with the Vision 2040, of course, there are lots of aspects. Now we are actually heading out of the national development, we're heading to the National Development Plan 4, we are getting out of the 3, 4, but I believe we can only achieve all these prospects when we do things formally. So as URSB, how are you doing to ensure that at least, of course, I know you cannot kick out the informal sector entirely. Even United States of America has the informal sector.
Yes.
But at least we can try to reduce the gap.
As URSB, of course, our mandate is to sensitize the public, to bring them on board, so that they formalize. We want a formalized economy, you've said, by 2040. And this is what the president is emphasizing. And it's on our topmost priority for URSB to formalize. That is why actually the Ministry of Finance has given us some good money so that we do what we call mass registration. We are going to crop the entire country with our services to ensure that we bring our services closer to the people, to Omuntu Wansi. It's going to be a drive which is going to run for a period of about 4 years, where we are taking our services deep down so that even that rural person can know that formalizing the economy, formalizing their business has benefits for them so that their business can thrive. So it is on our topmost priority as URSB to have a formalized economy.
Okay.
And actually, one of our strategic development plans provides that we must have a formalized economy by 2040.
By 2040.
Yes, and we are working towards it.
Okay. Any resistances you face as a result of that to make sure, because I believe sometimes you can, now this is 2023, and I believe you had resolutions 10 years before, I mean before this year. What could have been some of the major hindrances towards your side as a body to achieve the intended targets?
Of course, you know, people sometimes confuse URSB with URA.
URA,
like
exactly.
If we did register, you know, you're going to hinder us from, you're going to force us to pay taxes, you're going to monitor our businesses, to see our profits. Of course, those stereotypes are there, but we are trying to really encourage people to register because the taxes you're paying.
I think people fear taxes.
Yes, people fear taxes. The taxes you're paying are deducted from the profit you make. I think you brought one of the URA officers who has explained to you. So mostly people think that when you do register your business, taxes are going to come in. But it is, we are independent bodies. When you do register your business, just look at the benefits of registering.
Look at the
Of
benefits.
course, you shouldn't, it shouldn't be an oversight for you not to look at taxes. But taxes will definitely come in when you make a profit. When you do not make a profit, inform me that you are a body that this month I did not make
a profit.
Yes. You file nil returns. It is allowed, provided you furnish them with that information. So those are the few challenges we've had. But so far people are embracing formalization because they've seen the benefits.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, very interesting. Yeah, of course, we are discussing matters to do with the business registration. And of course, following what really happened, the deregistration of about 186,000.
Yes.
186,000 companies that were struck off the registry of the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. But definitely make sure that actually next time such a thing happens, you're not really a victim by obeying a few, of course, rules that need to be put in there so that we can evolve our country together. Well, at this point in time, we're going to take a short break, and of course, we are going to be returning back and discuss more matters to do with business registration, further aspects that you need to understand as an entrepreneur before you actually think of registering your business. What do you need to put in mind and all that, and other added benefits which we shall be discussing as we proceed.